Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Weekend Winners in association with BetVictor as we look ahead to a brilliant Super Saturday card at Newbury, all races live on Sky Sports Racing. Joining me, recovered from the DRF, Sam Boswell and Declan Rix. I didn't know if I was going to see you this week, so I'm happy that you're here.
Yeah, survived another Dublin Racing Festival. Good couple of days. Class to be there to watch Galopan. Probably not his best performance, but the crowd were genuinely so good. It was probably one of my better moments on the track. It was nice to be there and experience that. So
the ole-oles going.
Yeah, the whole lot. Out. Yeah, just I was like, he's beating Grange Clare West, lads. Calm down. But it was. No, I'm just like, you've just got to put a bit of sense in all these kind of things. But that's only my view. It was great to see how the fans took him in, and that's the most important thing.
Oh, the Guinness come down is not to be judged by any means. Sam, what was your highlight?
Yeah, galloping the shot. I think you don't see many crowd. I'm very blessed to get to go racing a lot. That's in my top 10 racing reactions, if you like, in terms of genuinely people were so excited, and to watch them rush back in from the grandstand to try and get a vantage point, and the horse going up to the crowd. There's just little touches like that. Leopardstown do an awful lot right and they should be commended. We're all moaners, aren't we, in racing? And actually, I think we should commend it when things go really well, and it's another great 2 days. We'd like a bit more depth, I think, but big well done on your winner. It's not all about Willie Mullins. You can find the winners from elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly. We always just expect, don't we, that it's just going to be a Willie Mullins bonanza. So it's so good to see that horses can go there and take them on. And yes, Solness, he's so tough, isn't he? He's so resolute. So yeah, he might give John Bon a nice toe into the race come the Champion Chase itself. But we will see. We might just get onto that race in itself in due course as well. But before we get into this weekend's action, a reminder as ever to please do gamble responsibly. Our tips are not guaranteed to win, but we will still do our best to point you in the right direction. Right, onto the 150 at Newbury. Handicap hurdle, 0 to 135 contest, 4-year-olds and over 3 miles. Now up for parole for BetVictor's very own Gavin Sheehan and Jamie Snowden combination market leader. Lads, I'm going to kick us off here. 4 to 1 the field. Wide open, as you can see. Plenty of question marks here, plenty of unexposed, potentially well-treated types. But the horse that interests me most is just making it into the bottom of the screen here. Ballygriffin Cottage, 20 to 1 shot, stable debut for Harry Durham. How often have we said this season, into handicaps, stable debut, Harry Durham, new recruit, keep an eye on them. He's had 33 runners in handicaps on stable debut. 16 of them have won a profit of £41.60 to your level stake. So that just goes to tell you everything
you do the math.
I'm surprised the profit isn't higher, which suggests to me that they are all getting backed, which seems to...
So maybe it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that they're all... Andrew Mount to fully credit for that stat completely. I'm not going to take any plaudits for that. It's a very good one. But Ballygriffin Cottage, he is a 10-year-old though. I'm hoping that he is going to be backed in enough here though in that, like you say, 'cause you would expect that profit to be higher with that sort of a strike rate. But he didn't run any sort of a race though last time out. That was for Dan Skelton. But to be honest, all of this is all about the stable switch for me. We know that Harry Durham, he started the season so well. Then, of course, his gallop got washed away. So naturally, if you haven't got a gallop, your form's not going to be there. But he's all put it back in now, and the form is back. And Ballygriffin Cottage at 20 to 1, though, despite his age, would be the one for me to side with in this one. Sam, do you have an opinion?
I do. I liked Up for Parole, and I like his chances a lot more should the rain continue to come. And I think the UK handicap has been quite fair this season. If you go through and take a look, only put up 7 for finally winning again after being placed quite consistently. So I thought that was fair, but 4 to 1, we're getting a little bit too skinny for me, I felt. Second favourite in there, this appears to be a run to protect the chase mark, although I do think could quite feasibly win this kind of contest. But for me, I was going to have a very small each-way bet on Shut Up Shirley, who was a little bit bigger when I looked at this race. Great name.
It's
if you know,
mad,
you know Shirley, I don't know, maybe the owner's wife's called Shirley, I don't know. But really progressive this season, won 3 from 4, and has just continued to kind of catch the eye. And in context of a lot of the runners in here, I'd say is incredibly unexposed, not had that many runs, has won on softer ground as well, which Declan and me were talking before the show, having our usual debate about what's the weather going to do. We think you might end up on the softer side here, Dec?
Oh, yeah, I think if that rain comes, it's going to be winter soft, kind of no excuses ground.
And I think that horse will handle those conditions. So, yeah, it was a little bit bigger when I was looking. I wouldn't want to take any shorter than 5 to 1, but I just thought when it was 7s, ish. It was a bit of an each-way stab in an open-looking contest where you can make cases for a few of them.
Yeah, I'd say it's been clipped in though to 5-1. There has to be a story behind that name, doesn't there? So if
and the
Shot
yard
Up
of
Shirley,
flying, I should add as well.
Yeah.
30% strike rate at the
but
moment.
it's still going under the radar because of who they are really
Yes.
in comparison to, like you say, those big
the big name
names.
Saturday trainers,
Yeah.
if you like. So yeah, that was kind of where I came down. But I thought it'd be an interesting contest, and yeah, you wouldn't be surprised to see the favourite go well. But
No.
I hope the next horse from that family is called Don't Call Me Shirley.
It has to be a theme now
Yeah.
throughout the whole family line, doesn't there? But yeah, Shot Up Shirley. Whoever, if he does manage to go and win, I just want to be interviewed and yeah, to find out the whole reasoning behind that. Right, opening selections then for Sam and I as we move on to the 225 at Newbury, the Grade 2 Denman Chase, 5 rods and over 2 miles 7. Wide open renewal, absolute crazy renewal this is, as competitive as you would really like in this. Now, Brave Man's Game, he's back. 9-4 heading the way. Now, Paul Nicholls has won this race 7 times, of course, with the race's namesake, Denman and Quarto star Eldorado Allen, who actually won this in 2022. He's the outsider of the field deck, so tricky.
Yeah, a tricky race. You know, Brave Man's Game is the fav, and look, I love this horse at the peak of his powers, but he just, you know, he just looks on the downgrade to me now. You know, even jumping, which was his massive asset, like he's still solid, but it used to come so easy and flawless to him. Now it all looks an effort. Everything looks an effort for him now. They're messing around with tongue ties, with headgear, the whole lot. Jello, he was very good beating Protector at Huntington 2 starts back, but that felt like a little bit of a freak race where he got loose in the lead and the runner-up hated the track. Ginny's Destiny hasn't been in good form. Hitman is probably the bet at the weights, but does Hitman like winning? He's got breathing issue and stuff like that. But so look, I came down on Le Patron, the younger horse of the Gary Moore teams. Now look, he's got to carry a little bit of a penalty, but he's had one start here at Newbury and he's won his only start, and he won't mind any rain that comes, because remember he won that Grade 1 on heavy ground at Sandown last year, and I just think going up and trip could be the key to him. There's lots of stamina on the distaff side of his pedigree, and I think he's by a stallion called Balco who will give him a chance as well. But look at this day, the further he's going, the better he looks, and while he hasn't got the most loveliest of head carriages, you can see why he wears that sheepskin noseband. He's probably still open to a little bit more improvement, and the fact that he's coming here a little bit fresh, I like it. It sounded like that they had to run in that big chase at Cheltenham last time up because he was going to go up in the handicap and they were going to have a pop. He's coming back here off a nice little break now, and if Gallo doesn't run and all the rain comes, he might get a little bit of a freebie on the front end. So yeah, I'll chance out Le Patron in a tricky race.
It is so tricky, isn't it? But 13-2 about a horse who at least is more genuine than the vast majority of them in here nowadays.
Oh, who are you throwing daggers at?
A lot of them. Completely honest with you, I'm not
All of them.
trying to hide it. But Sam, how are you playing it?
It feels a bit like a veterans race, doesn't it,
Yeah.
almost? The fact that we feel like we know these horses so well, and there's plenty of old-timers, the likes of teenager Sam Brown in there, who's been a fantastic servant for connection.
Even at the weights, I don't think he was out of it.
Yeah,
No.
and I think it shows how competitive it is. And I really wanted to take on Brave Man's Game, but I've gone in circles like I seem to do occasionally, and I've managed to crab everything else in my head. And I actually kind of thought 9-4 was a fair price to be taking a chance to kind of have one more go at the well, if you like. And I think you've got to think this is a different type of contest to what he's had to contest. You can put a line through the King George for me. I just think that race, the pace of it, just didn't ever going to suit him. And he isn't probably as good as we thought he would be or hoped he would be. But given the conditions here, I thought he had a really good chance. And it was probably more through picking holes in the others. I don't necessarily think this second favourite prefers to go this way around. I think he'd be better the other way around. I can't touch Hitman personally with Counterfeit. It'll probably end up second now, so maybe a place bet if you like that. Declan's selection, I think he's made a good case for. I'd just say that the stable look like they're just coming back, don't they? I think to they've been disappointed this year publicly. They've said that.
Yeah, it just feels like a year the horses haven't thrived and kind of put runs back to back together. But there's been a couple of stables like that, and I always say I think stable form is so important for those kind of reasons. You know, if you haven't got healthy horses, you know, they're not going to run well. You know, I don't sound too well today after the Dublin Racing Festival, so you know that's probably my selections aren't going to go too well. You know. And
then we go through the bottom of them, and Garlow, I'd be concerned about the ground. Could potentially come out the race if it ends up really soft. And you know, you've got
Fugitive's going to get a nosebleed given that he's not at Cheltenham, isn't he?
I know, he's going to be very confused when he arrives, isn't he?
And he is his first preference? I can't quite remember.
This is his first
This is first preference, so hopefully we see him here because obviously then gives you the extra runner. But yeah, I kind of just circled back round. Brave man's game for me. I think this is the last chance I'd want to play him. But let's not forget, Paul Nicholls, I know it looks like Skelton's going to win the title this year, but this is why Paul Nicholls used to pick up titles, because of his placement horses. And he might be on the downgrade, Brave man's game, but he should be off his rating. And I think off the weight he has to carry here, if he's on a going day, he wins this.
And he's unbeaten at Newbury, 3 out of 3.
Ooh, nice one to bolster.
Shouldn't be helping you. Shouldn't be helping. Well, my horse is unbeaten 1 out of 1, so who's your horse?
who's really laughing? My horse, I would like to see the strike rate for the second place finishes, because that is the only play in this race. I'm not a fan of this race at all in terms of win, but I will not be touching this for a win there whatsoever, because I did the same as you, Sam, where I saw Brave Man's Game. And I thought, oh, I'm definitely going to take him on here. OK, Jello, don't really think he wants to go this way around. Don't think he'll see out this trip either, especially the way that he didn't really see out last time out even at Windsor. So didn't think he'd get it. Hitman will finish second. Le Patron, do I think he's really up to this? But it is a weak renewal of a grade 2, at least it's more genuine. Garlaw, is he even going to go here? Does he really see out 3 miles? We don't actually know with the ground. Fugitive, like you say, you didn't know exactly which way he was going to go. This is his first preference. Shouldn't really be good enough. Sam Brown's 27 years old, and Eldorado Allen just has not been having the fantastic time of things this season at all. So, Hitman finished second, as we're going to see now, is his favourite thing to do. He had no excuses this day, did he, to go through with it. The race was falling apart all around him perfectly, but he did what he does, travelled into the race so well. This was at Ascot.
I hate this now. Watch, he puts in an extra stride at the last. Just when Harry needs him to come up, and then...
It's almost as if those cheek pieces, he could see past the peripheral, could see the other horse coming to him and thought an extra stride will just do nicely. Yeah. And this is just him all over. So, but at least with him, in a weird way in this race, for all that, I don't know what to expect from any of the rest of them. I don't know what Brave Man's Game. I still think Galopin de Champs just broke his heart in the Gold Cup a couple of years ago, and he hasn't been the same since. So last chance saloon for him. But the fact they're adding a tongue tie as well, is that giving mixed messages? But last chance saloon, happy to let him go and win at 9-4. The only horse that you can really nail your colours to the mast in terms of a prediction is Hitman to finish second. So it's the only way I'm going to play it. But honestly, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not touching it for a
I'm looking forward to seeing what the market does.
Oh, yeah.
Very informative.
Is it going to be volatile or stagnant? I don't know. Anyway, let us know who you fancy for the Denman Chase. I haven't got a clue, to be honest with you, but do let us know your thoughts all the same. Now, as we move on to the 3 o'clock at Newbury, this is the Grade 2 Game Spirit Chase. 5-year-olds and over 2 miles.
Look, I just thought JPR1 is the outsider of the complete field there. I thought he was interested. Now, I don't want too much rain for him to come, because I think the better the ground, the better his chance. He is such a good moving horse. He really flows across the ground. I think a flat track is a key to him. I know he won it well at Exeter at the start of the season, but I just think these flat tracks really allow him to use himself and allow him to travel. And look, he actually ran all right to a point in the Tingle Creek on heavy ground at Sandown. Now, Sandown heavy would not be his thing at all. He just couldn't pick up soon after the pond fence, and he probably didn't get up the hill well. But if he's in good order and he goes well fresh here, and the Tizzards, to be fair to them, they've had their horses in good order all season. They've been running consistently well. And look, he has Matata behind him this day, and I think he was idling a bit as well, and this is a bit of a mad race. But he does meet Matata on worse terms. But Matata's coming here off a run just 20 days ago. He's coming in here fresh. I'm hoping that will count for plenty. I do think getting back onto a flat track is a big positive. Just hope loads of rain doesn't come.
Right, we're going to move on to the 3:35 at Newbury. William Hill Hurdle, newly named after it was, of course, a Betfair hurdle in recent years. Premier Handicap Hurdle, 4-year-olds and over 2 miles. Europe's richest handicap hurdle, and, of course, the best-looking horse in training. Secret Squirrel heads the way here, Deck at 7-2.
He does absolutely bonkers race. As you can see there, loads of horses with chance. I just thought Secret Squirrel was a little bit short for me. He's like bit of a rock star, isn't he? He looks the part. He looks cool.
Ric Flair.
Yeah, exactly. But he's a really strong traveller, and he doesn't give himself the easiest of races. And he's not physically totally robust. And look, it's the type of race that you just have to have a crack at, given the prize money. So, when he won at Windsor, he hung badly, so left as well up the straight, and he still managed to win. So, don't know. Look, he's obviously got a favourite chance. He's got an outstanding chance, but I just wanted to take him on. Navajo Indy just looked looked beaten after 3 or 4 hurdles the last day. Couldn't really travel. Getting back to Newbury will help. And I thought it looked to be a race to swing and. Why not have a swing at a race at the best horse theoretically in the race in lump sum? Look, he's got to carry top weight. It will be a difficult task, but arguably this was an even more difficult task, trying to beat Sir Gino. This form is obviously good, and I think like he hasn't jumped as well as he can this season. He's quite a big horse there, and you can see him there in the video. That's why I'm not afraid about him carrying top weight at all. Physically, he is absolutely built to carry this weight. I think getting back on soft ground will definitely suit as a son of authorised, and obviously Dylan Johnson's going to be taking 3 pounds off his back. I hope Dylan allows him to stride on because he is an authorised. It doesn't matter what you do with them, they don't tend to settle. Yeah. And I think his jumping is better, and I think he actually settles better when he's allowed stride on a bit, and I just hope he allows him stride on. Look, it's going to be tough off a big weight, but he is the class act in the field. I just think it's interesting that they were willing to give up the Greatwood run to take on Sir Gino in a Grade 1. He ran against Constitution Hill again in a Grade 1. Obviously it turned out to be those races were too much for him, especially on good ground. But he's coming back here into handicap company. Dylan Johnson taking 3 pounds off his back. I thought at 20-1, I could easily see him running a big race.
Yeah, 20-1 as well, like you say, for the top weight then in here, but with the claimer taking that little bit off his back. And he was one for the trends as well.
Was he?
Second place,
here
though,
we
for
go.
the trends. But I'll get to that in due course, because not necessarily for right now. But Sam, your selection.
Yeah, I going completely the other way, going towards the front of the market. Navajo Indy for me, I just felt this horse. You talk about horses for courses. Windsor for me is going to become a specialist track because we're going to take the replay from the penultimate start where he wins. And these lovely long straights at Newbury, he can just gallop along. It's so different to what he encountered at Windsor.
Lovely jump.
Yeah. All right.
That's a bit of a step there.
Stitched up a little bit there, haven't I, by the producer? But he obviously comes home in front here and gets put up 7 for this. I still think there's a bit of yardage in the mark. I really, really think it is just a case that the track didn't suit at Windsor. I'm almost a bit disappointed they went there in hindsight, but look, we want to see horses run, don't we? Comes home in front here. The second obviously went off to Leopardstown and went off 7-2 for a very competitive handicap and ran a respectable 6th for Harry Derham. I kind of think that suggests to me that there's enough substance to the form of this, that there's a bit more to come. I'd like to think this has been a bit of a target for them in their heads. Like I say, I'm going to forgive the Windsor run. Back at Newbury will suit for me. It was a little bit bigger in the week. I'm hoping we might get a bit of a cheeky drift. I was trying to work out what might shorten up. I thought maybe Joycey could go. Favour and Fortune was another as well. I could see maybe some of the tipster angle coming in. They might put him up and he might shorten it. It'll push our fella out for Tom Simmons, who probably wouldn't be the first name to jump off the sheet for the casual punter. But I definitely think he's got a really smart horse, and I thought 11-2, probably about as short as I'd want to play, but I'll be getting involved.
He's so likeable, isn't he? Like, say, with that Newbury success as well, isn't he? Yeah, I thought Joyce would be the one to shorten up here, where, yeah, she just looks like she is going to, at the end of the season, reach a much loftier mark than she is currently on. But she's still got enough weight to be meeting the trends threshold in terms of the mark you want to be winning this off of. So I've dived back into the trends after we so narrowly missed out in the January 2.5 mile Premier Handicap chase there. That was absolutely gutting. So we're going back in with the trends after we've had a whole load of seconds. This time around, though, the horse that came out on top of the trends was Fiercely Proud at 9-1 in here. Now, the only negative he falls down on, really, is the fact he was a winner last time out. We've got loads of winners last time out in here, but it's not been a definite positive when you go back over a whole breadth of recent years. But one of the last 6 winners of this race did manage to win last time out. So I'm hoping that that trend will be bucked again here. Now, you really want a 6-year-old rated 133 to 138 or 141 to 146. Held up ideally, 3 runs coming into the race ideally, and placing or running well enough in a handicap hurdle, ideally this race. Premier Handicap Hurdle at Ascot, which of course he did win. And you just knew, like, look how far these front 2 have pulled clear of the remainder.
Absolutely.
You knew he was going to get an absolute whack for that. And yeah, but the handicap couldn't do anything about it. He did get a whack for it of £9. So you wonder, has his handicap mark completely gone? But the RPR he ran up to is now the mark that he's running off of in this as well. So hopefully there's more to come from him, and this hasn't just been a plan B default. You've now got to go for this particular contest, and I just thought that Fiercely Proud off a mark of 137 would be the one then for me. So
who beat Fiercely Proud at Doncaster last season?
lump sum.
Here we go, baby. Here we go. Back in the game.
Back in the game. I will get back to lump sum as well in due course. But yeah, wide open contest and loads of selections to go out there as well. Again, do let us know who you fancy for that contest as we head over to the sofa to give you our best bets for the weekend. Now, an extra bonus for you before we give you our best bets for this weekend, because this is our first week of our Cheltenham Ante-Post portfolio.
Oh,
am I going to go there?
Don't say
am I
the
going to
P
go
word.
there? I can't resist it. It's just, it's too tempting to resist. So, portfolio is now opened. Sam, your first bet. Of course, we're going to be boosting these as well, though.
Yeah, good news. The boosts are back, everyone. Yeah. So please get involved. I think it's because the traders ones last week actually copped. Obviously, Hansand managed to cop for them. So I think they decided we've got to get onto the Ante-Post boots for Cheltenham. We're all excited for Cheltenham. I think it's Cheltenham ready now, aren't we? Yeah. So yeah, we're going to have 3 boosts a week all the way to lead up to the festival. Get them while they're hot. They'll sit there for as long as we can. But I know last year, I think Declan's were the most popular. Believe it or not, Dec.
Ooh.
I know, shocked me too.
To everyone, even to him.
That's, silly people.
I've decided to kick off, though, with a horse that I think is going to be really popular at home. Lulamba for me. I was really impressed at Ascot. I believed the hype after seeing this performance. Boosted from 6 to 4 to 2 to 1. Go back through. The form's getting boosted already. The third for Harry Derham went and won at Ludlow this week. Quite nicely as well, actually. Then you've also had, I think we had the 5th as well, went and won at Musselburgh, and the 6th was running really well before coming down 1 out in the same race. So the form looks solid enough. Don't forget, it was giving up to £10 to some of those horses in the race as well. I really think that this is a horse that we can all get excited about. Nicky Henderson, I think, will have a great week at the festival as well, which means I think this will be better value because I can see by the end of the week, his horses will be even more popular in the market. East India Dock, I guess, next best in the betting is the biggest threat, and I thought Hello Neighbour was good, but apart from that, doesn't look like the strongest year, I thought, for the Triumph, so why not give the people what they want? A Nicky Henderson favourite boosted, 2 to 1 Lulamba.
Yeah, exclusively boosted with BetVictor as well, so do make sure to head to attheraces.com/weekend winners to take advantage of that boost, or of course a QR code in Vision as well. Lulamba kicking us off for Sam, Dec, the popular boy.
We are going 7 Barrows crazy, aren't we? Because I'm going to stick up one of Nicky's as well in the stairs hurdle in Lucky Place. Now, Tiahupu, the reigning champion, obviously is going to take lots and lots of beating here. Yeah. But look, I was actually a little bit disappointed with him against Lossiemount in the Hatton's Grace. I thought he was about £8 or £9 below what he did in the years previous. Now, look, Gordon's will have loads of time to work on him, and he clearly goes well there fresh. But he's not an outstanding stairs hurdle winner. We've got a 10-year-old in Home by the Lee who is second favourite, who's been beaten in the race, I think, for the last 3 or 4 seasons. So it just looks like a race that it could potentially set up for a young improver. And I think Lucky Place fits that bill. Now, this is him at the start of the season winning on debut in the Ascot Hurdle. Now, the conditions of this race really suited him well because he was getting weight from a lot of these, but he's gone on to win since. And what I loved here is, look, he stays on the one leg for quite a while and he sustains his run really well, which I think you're going to need. He does tie up now at the end because he needed the race, to be fair, but he went on after the winning the Ascot Hurdle and went on and won the Rel Keel, beating Gale Road, giving him £6. Gale Road has since come out and boosted the form. Now, I know that was a race that fell apart, but he just looks like a progressive horse. He does an awful lot right, and going to 2 out on that new course, he will be travelling really well. Whether or not he gets up the hill remains to be seen, but he's a young horse, he's progressive, and there is a bit of stamina on the distaff side of his pedigree, so we'll have a crack. 14 to 1 is an absolutely outrageous price.
Best we've got.
Yes, I'll be getting the family members' passports out here to be going on to BetVictor to get this. 14 to 1 is an outrageous price. For me, if he's in good order and has had a good prep, he goes off second favourite on the day, especially if we get some nice spring ground.
14 to 1. So yeah, Chris Paul's doing you right.
Thursday, Nicky Henderson could be having a great week, so everything in his is going to shorten. Yeah. Declan may have given you 2 winners.
That's a scandalously big price, so fair play to the lads at BetVictor.
Yeah, exactly. So like I say, if they have a first 2 good days then of the week, all of those further prices are going to contract, and Lucky Place might be one of those then for the Thursday.
Let's hope Nicky don't get the lurgy again this year.
I know, goodness me, all 3 of us are hoping for that because I'm with another resident of
Brilliant.
Well. And the main reason I wanted this was for the boost. I try and target this, much to Chris Paul's delight, I'm sure. John Bond, though, is going to be in the Champion Chase, where I'm going to put my sentiment now of soulness aside, and John Bond, the fact that he was 4 to 5, now I'm getting odds against then 5 5-4 about him. After, if anything, he's just getting better and better. And he's finally this season getting all of the credit he has long deserved, where he's just picking up Grade 1 races for fun now. And last time out, on the RPRs, that was a career best from him. So who's to say that he's reached his prime even yet? He might still just be there, or even if he's not, even if he's just levelled off now, it's still a monumental feat for the others to have to come up and meet, as we saw from this most recent start, beating Energumene comfortably into second. Now, Energumene, I know, is older now, but he is still a dual champion chase winner. But he couldn't lay a glove on John Bon on this occasion in the Grade 1 Clarence House Chase. And now this took John Bon's wins to 17 from 20 in his career. This was a 9th Grade 1 win as well. And as I say, a career best according to the RPRs. So who's to say he isn't getting better still at the age of 9? And as I said earlier on, that Solness, I really, really like him, clearly. And I still don't think he's being fully respected in the betting, especially for the old course around Cheltenham, which is so, can really favour front runners. But I think that he's just going to give John Bon a lovely toe.
And that form might get a boost tomorrow with Edwardstone running, so we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, exactly. We definitely will do. Yeah, so timely. But yeah, it was just mainly for the boost, to be honest. For 5-4 now, getting a shade of odds again.
Going for your favourite title. That's what that is. Trying to please the audience.
Exactly. Yeah. You can't be the popular kid. It just doesn't feel right.
I'm definitely not the popular kid. I know that for a fact.
Trying to take that then from debt. But again, do head to the website though, or the QR code to take advantage of any one of our boosts there. And as Sam said, try and leave them up there for you as long as we possibly can. Right, more immediate racing this weekend. Our best bets for Saturday. Deck, your nap.
Yeah, it's a tricky weekend so I'm getting the excuses in early. But I'm going to go with the Patron. It'll be interesting to see what way the market goes. But that just looks a race that I want to take on the horses to the front of the market. Now, the way it's really suit Braveman's game, but, you know, I don't really know where we stand with him. He looks regressive, you know, nothing's coming easy to him anymore. You know, Jello, I think, disappointed last time out at Windsor as well. And the Patron's going to come here fresh. That suits. He's unbeaten at the course. He's run here once. And I think he's bred to, and visually, it looks like the step up and trip could bring out further improvement. If Gallo doesn't run, he might make the run and get a bit of a freebie on the front end. Then the next best is also going to be at Newbury, and that is going to be JPR1. Again, probably don't want loads of rain for him, but I think he's going to love getting back on a flat track. The weights don't suit him ideally, but, you know, he's taken on a couple of horses there like Edwardstone and Matatu, who are making relatively quick reappearances. He's coming in here nice and fresh. If he loses his mind and looks nice and fresh in the parade ring beforehand, that's a positive. That's exactly what he did at Exeter when he bolted up. So, yeah, if that happens, don't be worried. And then the long shot we've already discussed as well. It's going to be lump sum off top weight in the, I nearly said Betford hurdle, the William Hill handicap hurdle now. So, look, it'd be tough to carry top weight. Physically, he's able to do that. I still think his mark is fair, especially when you consider Dylan Johnson going to take another £3 off his back. So those are the 3 losers for you this week.
Oh, Declan, come on.
Full of positivity there. I mean, it is a tricky weekend, all things considered, though. But anyway, you're convincing enough with that, with your 3. Sam, your turn.
Debatable, but...
Yeah, I'm going to try and be more positive about my chances. Brave Man's Game for me is going to be the nap. I've gone in circles. It is a tricky week, Kate. I think it's fair to say.
After the Alan Brazil comment earlier, he's gone for napping Brave Man's Game. Oh, my God.
And we've doubled down.
Brave Man's Game will, I hope, bounce back to some sort of form. This is a really good opportunity for him. Let's be honest, if he can't be competitive in this sort of race, it's possibly looking like it's the end of the road. As we know, he's going to have to reinvent himself potentially as a national horse or maybe cross-country, I don't know. But I still hold really strong hope that Paul Nicholls will target this race successfully. I think the cast of those against him is questionable. There's more questions than answers from those. So Brave Man's Game is going to be my nap. Next up, Declan, get your bingo card out. You can mark off every single BetVictor brand ambassador this week because Harry Redknapp is running Shake 'Em Up Harry in the intermediate veteran series, which is a really fantastic concept. I was quite interested to see that we've got Callum Pritchard taking £5 off, which I think would be really helpful to his chances. He's off a mark of 147. That 5 coming off would have him really competitive. The favourite's probably going to come out because he's in at Newbury, first preference, but I thought it was an open enough race, and I thought if you can get in and around 4-1, that'd be a really fair price. About a classy animal on his day. You know, he did have a fall last time out, but they've been patient with him, and I suspect this kind of race is perfect for a horse like that. And then my long shot, I'm going to go to the big handicap hurdle at Newbury because I thought Manila Missile, there's a few quid around for this as soon as Dex came in at 40s. I think we're about 25-1 now. The horse made his reappearance after a significant layoff at Windsor, and that was over 3 miles and ended up 9th, which I thought was a fair enough return to action. I thought it was interesting. The handicapper left him on 138. He dropped the horse in front of him and he dropped the horse behind him a couple of pounds, left this fella alone. Clearly thinks that he's capable of a big run. The trip's interesting because on paper I thought, oh, he probably wants 3 miles, but watching his run style, I think a fast run pace, he can come up that straight, and I think he'll be weighted with. I think he has got a turn of foot. So Manila Missile for me was my big price play each way in that race.
That was more confidence and positivity there for your best bet.
I try, Kate. Half full on this show.
Very
hopefully.
much so. I'm probably going to find it difficult to match that positivity though, because this weekend, goodness me, was I struggling for a nap. So I don't have a nap as such, but I have probably a best bet at the prices, which I know people will say, well, what's the difference? In my mind, there's a massive difference between the pair of those two. So my best bet of this weekend is going to be Fiercely Proud at 9-1 in the William Hill Hurdle. Now, as I say, just this weekend was a bit of a minefield for me, but Fiercely Proud, I've got to stick with the trends when in doubt. So despite him winning last time out, he's ticking a whole load of the rest of the trend boxes, being the right age of 6, ideally rated 137. Perfect race to have faced last time out in that Premier Handicap Hurdle at Ascot, which means he's also getting the ideal turnaround time of 7 weeks as well. So he is one for the trends. Next in is going to be Ballygriffin Cottage at 20-1. I was debating which one of these I was going to side with for the long shot, but I'm just fascinated to see what he can do for Harry Derham. Back over hurdles now, stable debut. The stats are through the roof in terms of new recruits into handicaps. Also getting the first-time combination of blinkers to go with his usual tongue-tie. Wasn't great when last seen, but it's a stable debut in handicaps that fascinates me the most. Now, Lump Sum, as Dec was making the solid case for earlier on, also in the William Hill Hurdle, is also going to be my long shot in here as well. As I did tee up earlier on, he's the horse who ticks the second most boxes then for the contest. So, and he didn't win last time out, so that's a positive then in itself. As you said, Dec, he was 4 for 4 in a Grade 1 in the Christmas Hurdle, clear outsider of the field, but running in a Grade 1 last time out is not a negative for this race by any means. And back in the handicap, Dylan Johnson able to use his £3 claim. And as you say, he's a smart horse, still with more to offer as well. So a bit of agreement there for the pair of us two anyway.
Let's go Lump Sum.
Yes. Oh, well, second behind Fiercely Proud, but hey,
oh,
no.
Come on.
All the same there, enough agreement. But that's everything from us then, lads. So thank you so much for all of your efforts and hard work as per usual. A big thank you to you at home for watching. And we will be back at the same time next Friday to preview Ascot Chase Day.